Imagine a world without steel, no saws, no nails, just stone, wood, and bone. The sun scorches the land by day, and a chill wind warns of night. For the first peoples of Australia, survival was everything. Their lives depended on knowledge, ingenuity, and a deep connection to the land. They didn't conquer nature, they worked with it. Every choice, from finding water to building shelter, was a test of wisdom. This is true bushcraft, not overpowering nature, but understanding it, knowing which tree's bark makes the best roof, or how to use a stone axe to fell a giant eucalyptus. Shelters were sanctuaries, protection from heat, cold, and insects. Building them required practical science, learned through observation and necessity. Materials were harvested with skill and foresight, designs adapted to each unique environment. Australia's extremes demanded diverse solutions. What worked in the rainforest failed in the desert. Aboriginal peoples didn't just survive, they thrived, engineering shelters perfectly suited to their land. Their knowledge was a living library, passed down through generations. Each shelter was a testament to human intelligence in harmony with nature. Their story is one of adaptation, resilience, and respect for the world around them. This is the legacy of survival in the ancient land. When we think of engineering, we picture monuments, pyramids, cathedrals, skyscrapers. Aboriginal engineering was different. Its genius lay in efficiency and impermanence. Structures met immediate needs, then returned to the earth, leaving no trace. This was advanced engineering, adaptable, sustainable, and resourceful. Intelligence was valued over brute force. Why build heavy, permanent homes when lighter, temporary ones sufficed? Their nomadic lifestyle demanded dynamic solutions, using local materials for local problems. At the heart of this was a spiritual connection to the land, a living entity to be respected, not exploited. Every tree felled, every stone shaped was done with reciprocity. Their engineering left no scars. Shelters were part of nature's cycle. Materials were borrowed, not taken, and always with sustainability in mind. Over-harvesting was avoided, ensuring the ecosystem's health. Their approach was a partnership with nature, not a battle. Aboriginal engineering was cyclical, self-limiting, and guided by ecological wisdom. The Australian bush was a hardware store for those who could read its signs. Every plant, tree, and rock held potential if you knew what to look for. Choosing the right material was a science, guided by generations of knowledge. Only certain eucalypts had the right bark or timber for shelter. Harvesting was done with care, never taking more than needed, always allowing for regeneration. Bark was best peeled after rain when sap flowed and the tree could heal. This was practical, and moral sustainability was a duty. The seasons dictated every action. The bush itself was a living calendar. Grasses, clays, and vines were chosen for insulation, sealing, and lashing. Every material had a purpose. Every choice was deliberate. The land was their library, and they were its expert readers. This deep, holistic knowledge made survival possible. Felling a tree with a stone axe seems impossible, unless you know the secret. The stone axe wasn't for chopping, but for bruising and weakening wood fibers. A groove was cut around the trunk, exposing heartwood and creating a channel for fire. Fire was the real tool. Applied slowly, it charred and weakened the wood. The process was patient and precise, requiring constant attention. Burn, chip away the charred wood, repeat. This cycle harnessed fire's energy, not just muscle. Even a single person could bring down a massive tree using this method. It was a masterclass in efficiency, using simple tools and natural forces. The technique protected valuable timber and minimized waste. Every step showed a deep understanding of wood, fire, and patience. This was engineering without steel, just intelligence and time. The result: timber for shelter harvested with care and skill, Aboriginal shelters were marvels of simple, effective design. There was no single blueprint. Each shelter fit its climate, materials, and purpose. In warm regions, a lean-to provided shade and breeze. In cold, a dome-shaped gunya offered strength and warmth. The dome's curved frame, made from flexible saplings, was lashed together with bark or vine. No nails or screws, just natural cordage and clever knots. Forked sticks served as joints, adding stability. Orientation mattered. Entrances faced away from wind, low doors trapped warmth. A small fire near the entrance warmed the interior and kept insects at bay. Every element, from shape to placement, was chosen for comfort and efficiency. These shelters were quick to build, sturdy and perfectly suited to their environment. Aboriginal design was engineering at its most elegant. Building a bush shelter followed a logical, efficient process. First, choose the site. Elevated, safe from floods, near water and firewood, shielded by trees. The whole group gathered materials, saplings for frames, bark for cladding, grass for insulation. Division of labor made the process swift and effective. The frame came first, poles driven in a circle, tops bent and lashed together. Horizontal poles added strength, creating a rigid lattice. The structure was tested for stability before cladding. Large bark sheets were overlapped like tiles starting from the bottom. Gaps were filled with grass or clay. Extra insulation was added outside. The result, a weatherproof, cozy home built entirely from the bush. Every step reflected deep knowledge of materials and environment. This was survival, science, and community in action. The true genius of Aboriginal bushcraft is what was left behind: almost nothing. Shelters were built from biodegradable materials, vanishing within seasons. This was intentional, to leave no trace, to respect the land. The landscape remained pristine, resources available for future generations. The land was a shared inheritance, not owned or scarred. Unlike modern construction, there was no waste, no ruins. Adaptation was key. Move on when resources dwindled. Let nature recover. Shelters were disposable in the best sense. Nature handled the cleanup. This approach prevented environmental damage and preserved the ecosystem. Aboriginal engineering was subtle, efficient, and deeply respectful. Their legacy, a continent managed for millennia yet appearing untouched. Today we face environmental crises, climate change, resource depletion, habitat loss. The ancient wisdom of Aboriginal Australia offers a blueprint for sustainability. Their principles, efficiency, adaptation, respect, are more relevant than ever. Aboriginal engineering valued intelligence, minimalism, and cycles over waste. Imagine if our products, like bark shelters, returned to the earth with ease. This is the circular economy, an old idea, newly urgent. Practical skills matter too. Building shelter from nature fosters connection and respect. Seeing the world as a living system changes our relationship with it. The greatest lesson is attitude. We are custodians, not masters. Their survival was no accident, it was philosophy in action. As we seek solutions, we should look to this enduring legacy. The wisdom of the first peoples is not just history, it's a guide for our future.